kids' minds to feed the magic sauce!
Amaya and Ms. Beaverstein, Tiffany and Mr. Wilkins, stories together in that one. The one about being scared to go to school when he went to the new school was by Sergio. And we also had another very similar story about being kind of scared to go to school, but then everybody was really nice at Lawrence by Kenya. Yeah, and then we had some stories about favorite teachers by Clarissa Martinez, and how Miss Johnson is awesome by Valentino Carenza. The story of our culture were two stories put together, and they were also guest artists here today. They worked really hard. You know, they came out of school on Friday and they worked to learn their lines. They did a fantastic job. That was Tatiana Gomez and Jesus in this class. It takes a lot of courage to get up on stage. Very nice job, you guys. And then the song about the ants and the pants, and that started with a funny song about Sing Sing by Alex Guzman. Alex, there you are. And The Ants in My Pants by Nicholas Valenzuela and Anthony Rodriguez. Funny stories. And there was Moss, our guest artist back there. And then the story of the cupcake, how there was only one cupcake. He had to chase his dad to get it. That was by Henry. Where are you, Henry? I don't have a last name for you, Henry, but you know you wrote that story. And then the story about my mom, how she's little and she cooks, and that was by Camilla in Miss Bieberstein's class. She wrote a lot of stories about your family. We picked one about your mom. How to Make a Cake by Leticia in Miss Bieberstein's class. And are you here, Leticia? And the story of I Have Eaten the Cake, and it was delicious. That was a poem by Chris Carino. Chris wrote a lot of poetry. Keep writing, Chris. The sticky benchmark test where the kids had to go on strike to get some ice cream if they were going to get the best test scores in the world, which I'm sure you guys are getting the best test scores in the world in writing, at least, if not all the subjects. That was by Elodia. And then we had the Basement of Horrors. You like those scary stories? Yeah, that was the first one called Basement of Horrors by Ivan H. in Miss Smith's class. Nessie the Sea Monster